Hello, NBA fans. Daily news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a fan of the Lakers show and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Making new trades is something the Lakers intend to do during the season, and one player who will be traded is Dalton Netsch, so that the Lakers can bring in more athletic and solid players, such as Nick Richards and Royce O'Neal. It was a busy offseason for the Phoenix Suns as they decided to blow up their roster as they try to bounce back this season after finishing 11th in the Western Conference last year. Of course, Phoenix began their offseason by trading Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets in exchange for a package headlined by Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and the 10th overall pick in the 2025 draft they used to select Common Maluak. They also selected Rasheer Fleming and Kobe Bryant in the 2025 draft and acquired Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets. Phoenix then bought out Bradley Beal's contract, allowing him to sign with the Los Angeles Clippers and leaving Devin Booker as the lone player remaining from their Big Three. By making these moves, the Suns officially began a rebuild this offseason as they now try to retool their roster around their new duo of Booker and Green as they try to become contenders once again. Lakers could show interest in Nick Richards, Royce O'Neal. With the Suns in a mini rebuild, they could be open to making more moves this season ahead of the trade deadline, and two players who remain in trade rumors are Nick Richards and Royce O'Neal. Richards is a reliable big man who could draw interest from many teams, while O'Neal could also draw interest due to his 3-and-D capabilities. One team that could show interest in both players is the Los Angeles Lakers, as they could look to upgrade their depth this season with hopes of making a run to a championship behind their star duo of LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Mock Tradeland Suns Dalton Connect from Lakers. In a potential trade, the Suns could send Richards and O'Neal to the Lakers in exchange for Dalton Connect, Gabe Vincent, and draft capital. For the Suns, adding a young forward in Connect and a much-needed point guard in Vincent would help them upgrade their roster this season as they continue their rebuild. Connect showed flashes of being a key role player during his rookie season with the Lakers last year, though he did struggle in the second half of the season after he returned to Los Angeles after the trade between the Lakers and Charlotte Hornets that included Williams fell through. Last season, the 24-year-old forward averaged 9.1 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 0.8 assists per game while shooting 46.1% from the field and 37.6% from three. Connect is a solid scorer, though he does need to work on other aspects of his game, who would give the Suns another young player to build around for their future. For Vincent, he would provide the Suns with a much-needed point guard off the bench who could have a large role for the team this season if they were to make this trade. Last season, the 29-year-old guard averaged 6.4 points, 1.3 rebounds and 1.4 assists per game while shooting 40% from the field and 35.3% from three. Vincent is a solid scorer and playmaker who could help the Suns guard depth this season while also giving them another potential trade piece later down the road. By making this trade, the Suns would add another key young player in Connect to help with their rebuild along with a much-needed point guard as they try to return to being a contender behind their new-look roster. Luka Doncic projected to have MVP numbers this season. He's only had good seasons, but Luka Doncic of the Los Angeles Lakers might be on the verge of his best one yet. Doncic is about to begin his first full campaign with the Lakers, and experts are predicting some eye-popping stats from him. According to BetUS NBA, Doncic's projected numbers for 2025-26 are an average of 31 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. Last year, Doncic put up 28.2 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 7.7 assists on 45% from the field. His numbers with the Lakers were remarkably similar to the ones he produced for the Dallas Mavericks during the first half of the season. After a bit of an adjustment period, it became clear that Doncic was happy in Los Angeles and feeling comfortable with his new team. Since then, he has shed weight, played in the Eurobasket tournament, and made it obvious that he's aiming for even more in 2025-26. He is returning to the Lakers in better shape and with more significance. When he was signed, the Lakers knew that Doncic could be the future of the franchise. That is why they signed him to a contract extension this summer, a sign that they want Doncic to remain in LA as long as possible. And now with LeBron James being out until November at least, Doncic will have more responsibilities running the ball and driving the team. This means that Doncic is going to get off to an explosive start in 2025-26, which could set the tempo for the rest of his season. He's been in the running for MVP multiple times, but this might be the year that he finally takes that crown. Analyst gives a warning about the Lakers' defense this season. The Los Angeles Lakers' chances of being very competitive this season will largely hinge on their ability to stop opponents on the defensive end. As it currently stands, their roster lacks plus defenders, and the only two definite plus defenders it has, Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt, can be liabilities on the offensive end. Their powerful big three of LeBron James, Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves don't exactly stand out defensively. That, along with the lack of two-way players elsewhere on the roster, is the one thing Bleacher Report writer Zach Buckley identified that could derail the season for the Lakers. Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves have never been mistaken for super stingy stoppers. And with LeBron James' 41st birthday fast approaching, he might have to go into energy conservation mode on the defensive end more often than not. Maybe if the Lakers were loaded with lockdown defenders around them, they could be solid stoppers. Maybe. Since they're far from that, it's all too easy to worry about how generous this defense might be. LA could win a lot of nightly races to 120-plus points, but that hardly feels like a successful championship formula. In all likelihood, a trade or two by mid-season will be needed to upgrade this roster into the upper echelon of the NBA. The best Lakers fans can hope for until then, if such a trade happens, is that new starting center DeAndre Ayton starts to take his defensive responsibilities very seriously. So far in the preseason, he has done exactly that. Smart, even though he isn't the player he was a few years ago, has the ability to make a significant impact, and not just in terms of defense. Other than that, it will take improvements from players such as Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Jake LaRavia, and Dalton Knecht to get the purple and gold to the next level. Steve Nash details what DeAndre Ayton must avoid if he wants to help Luka Doncic and the Lakers. DeAndre Ayton was one of the Los Angeles Lakers' most noteworthy additions this offseason. Given the importance of his signing and his significance to the team's functioning, Ayton has high expectations placed upon him heading into the new campaign. In accordance with this, two-time NBA MVP Steve Nash joined the Zach Lowe Show to detail a key aspect that Ayton would want to avoid in order to be effective next to Luka Doncic. He's got to have a better year, Nash stated. We know he can put up numbers, but is he really going to roll? That's my big question there. Is he really going to roll to the basket? Because it doesn't really help the Lakers or Luka help the Lakers if he wants to pop or if he wants to slow down in the short roll and become a playmaker. Among many things that will be demanded of DeAndre Ayton as the team's starting center, the priority is to serve as a solid pick-and-roll partner for Luka Doncic. While he is a capable offensive threat from multiple spots on the floor, Nash clearly expressed that he would be most effective rolling to the basket and being a consistent lob threat. They really need him to want to be a little more dynamic, he emphasized. Get in and out, get above the rim, be a vertical threat just to draw the defense, to ask questions so that Luka can do what he does and make the rest of that team better. Aside from DeAndre Ayton's impact on offense, the two-time MVP also noted how the Lakers would face challenges on the defensive end. To balance this out, he added it would be crucial for Ayton to constantly be a pick-and-roll threat to help Doncic ensure that the Lakers' offense hums. The big man's role appears to be fairly clear, and in many ways, Ayton has shown an inclination to embrace it. Considering his perception of Doncic's pick-and-roll mastery and his own experience playing alongside capable point guards like Chris Paul, there is enough evidence to suggest that they could be a solid pair. DeAndre Ayton has been limited in preseason. DeAndre Ayton's preseason debut was one of the most highly anticipated events for Lakers fans this summer. Considering the hype surrounding his addition and the potential pairing with Luka Doncic, Ayton's eventual performance was perceived by many as underwhelming. It is worth noting that neither Luka Doncic nor LeBron James participated in the game, but Ayton's tentativeness to shoot was surprising. Although the big man has followed up with some solid outings since, it is evident that he hasn't settled in with the rotation just yet. Additionally, considering that he has had very little time playing with the pair of Doncic and James, there could be greater concerns brewing for the Lakers. After 4 preseason games, DeAndre Ayton averaged 8.0 points, 9.0 rebounds, 1.2 steals, and 2.0 blocks per game on 48.1% shooting overall. While these are productive figures, the purple and gold will need more impactful contributions from their starting big man. On this note, the preseason finale against the Sacramento Kings on Friday night could be a crucial game for Ayton. With Doncic and Austin Reeves both expected to play significant minutes, the Lakers center will have the opportunity to build chemistry. Los Angeles Lakers to get key advantage with LeBron James' injury. The Los Angeles Lakers are no longer LeBron James' team, and with every update, the gulf between him and Luka Doncic seems to be getting bigger. That's not to say that James and Doncic are on bad terms. In fact, the opposite seems to be true. However, James has quickly gone from the first option to 1B, to the clear-cut second-best player on his team. Add in that he will miss the first 2 weeks of the regular season with injury, and suddenly, the Lakers should be less inclined to keep investing in him. LeBron James to end 21-season streak. Starting in the 2023-24 season, players had to appear in 65 contests to be considered for season awards and All-NBA nods. Since then, James has appeared in 71 and 70 games, keeping alive his 21-season streak of All-NBA nods. James is expected to miss between 5 and 10 games to start the season. On top of that, he will be under serious load management all year long. The chances of him meeting the threshold seem slim. How does this affect All-NBA? Asked Sports Illustrated's Rachel Nichols. Because it's a 65-game minimum. You'd have to think he's probably going to miss some other games this season. The Lakers have talked about not having him play as much during the regular season, more of a minutes restriction, maybe not going every game that he possibly could go. Before the 65-game rule was introduced, James made 4 All-NBA teams while falling short of the mark. His ability to prove that he's still an elite player has helped ensure he is always paid a maximum salary. The fact that he is still, quote, playing at an All-NBA level, that he made All-NBA last year, that has been a real calling card of no, LeBron's still good, right? He still deserves that big salary that he wants, Nichols added. Well, it's going to be hard for him to make All-NBA if you start out the season missing that many games. If James can be healthy in the playoffs and not make the All-NBA team, that would be the perfect scenario for the Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers can easily re-sign James. James will be an unrestricted free agent next summer, and every team with cap space will be lining up to sign him. If he plays in 65 games, it stands to reason that the media will vote him to a 22nd All-NBA team, mostly out of respect. If he's coming off a season where there is concrete evidence that he is a top 15 player still, he can command maximum money. The Lakers have been urged to keep James, although shelling out over $50 million for a player in his 40s is asinine. James is unlikely to accept a veteran minimum out of pride, although if his age catches up to him and affects his durability, he will have less bargaining power. Excluding James's salary, the Lakers have about $44.1 million coming off the books next summer. Most of that will probably go to re-signing Austin Reeves, who will also be a free agent. After that, there should be enough to pay James what he's worth. ESPN expert explains why Knicks are favorites to land LeBron James if he demands a trade. Should LeBron James demand a trade, the New York Knicks are in pole position to bring him in, says one ESPN insider. The future of LeBron James has been the subject of great speculation this summer. After the arrival of Luka Doncic, it appears the Lakers have deprioritized James going forward. This summer, James accepted his $52.6 million Lakers option, rather than opt out and renegotiate a new deal like he had done before. It's become clear that the Lakers are planning to let LeBron leave in free agency, as they continue to build around Luka Doncic. But what if James decides he wants to leave during the season? If it comes down to a trade demand, one NBA insider thinks there is only one team he could join. Bobby Marks claims New York Knicks are the only trade destination for LeBron James. Bobby Marks spoke with Kevin O'Connor about a host of different topics ahead of the new NBA season. When discussing LeBron James' future, Marks admitted the Knicks were the only team that could realistically trade for LeBron if he demanded a trade. Bobby Marks, if he says he wants to be bought out, we can eliminate all the apron teams. If it were a straight trade, you always think New York. They do have the contracts, whether it be the big towns number, OG, Bridges, that group, it would probably lean back towards New York. Kevin O'Connor added that the move wouldn't just make sense for the Knicks, but also for LeBron James, who loves playing in Madison Square Garden. Kevin O'Connor, if he were to be traded mid-season, the Knicks make sense for salary purposes, for roster fit purposes, for what they feel like they might need. Also, for LeBron, it's Madison Square Garden, he's always called it his favorite arena. He could be a savior if he does help take them to a championship for the first time in a decade. LeBron James unlikely to be traded by Lakers, but signs suggest he's out the door soon. As things stand, LeBron James and his agent, Rich Paul, have made it clear that they don't plan to demand a trade away from the Los Angeles Lakers. However, we've seen in the NBA that the best laid plans can go up in smoke at the drop of a hat. So if James encounters some rough luck with the Lakers, he might demand a trade. James is taking a patient approach with his current injury, which has delayed his start to the season. Some fans believe James' approach is a sign he's out the door soon. Whatever the case may be, expect LeBron James' future to be a topic of discussion for the rest of the season and beyond.